Hello everybody. Welcome to another edition of Pairin with Aaron. Oh, hey, hello everyone in the comments. Today I got a special guest on. I'm gonna bring on Justin Searls. He is going to show us about his latest product, I suppose, called Posse Party. Um, and we're just gonna take a look at the code. I don't know. Justin and I are going to chat about it and then look at the code. He's going to show off some of his editing styles, which I'm pretty interested in, and just go from there. I have prepared absolutely no slides for this, so we will just I don't know, go to it. I think the main thing here is to amortize the cost of this green screen. So we got to put in the hours to reduce the price. So I'll bring on Justin and then we'll chat about stuff. As always, if you have any questions or anything, throw it in the chat, and I will ask them and we will answer the questions. So let's do this. I'm going to bring on Justin as soon as I find the right button. There. Hey, Justin.
Whoa!
Hey, you're live.
Hey, yeah, hi. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Hi everybody. Hi everybody. I feel like you're a late night talk host, and I'm doing like the circuit because like I've got something to shill. Except, except it's something that makes me no money, which
Oh.
is pretty on par for what I do.
Hmm. By the way, chat. If the audio levels are off, please let me know. I still don't know how to make sure audio levels are correct before going live, so we'll figure that out someday. But Justin and I,
Just
so
just type warmer, colder until you feel like it's dialed in. And
Justin and I so yesterday, of course, we like practiced this. I mean, practice in so much as make sure that all of our stuff is set up correctly, and then of course, like this morning when I get on with him nothing worked, so that's why we're a little bit late today with audio problems. Anyway, Posse Party, you're here to shill your product.
That's right. That's right. And so if anyone follows my shit, well, first of all, if you follow it in any way other than my blog or my newsletter or the RSS thereof, I've been lying to you because all of that shit has been getting syndicated by this app that I made called Posse Party, which is a Rails application that just checks my RSS feed every minute. And if there's any new posts, it'll kind of create a record in there called, very old hat to Rails people. You can imagine a model called post goes into a post table. And then I've got 8 different social media accounts all configured onto it. And for each one of those, so like the cross product, I guess, using that word wrong, it creates that many cross posts, and then it has a separate background job that
Mm-hmm.
just goes and publishes them to all the social medias.
Okay.
And then that way I can be everywhere, but also not be on any of the apps because as a man of leisure in Florida who would rather be golfing and hanging out at pools, the best thing about it is not having to be online or caring what anyone thinks. Other than you, chat. If you email me, I'll care what you think, but I won't see it otherwise usually.
Mm. So you wrote this. You wrote this. So Posse Party is essentially an application that syndicates. So actually, we should talk about what Posse stands for.
Sure. Yeah. It's not like, do you want to ride with my posse? Because like, I'm explicitly not inviting new members right now. Uh, it's posse stands for post own site. I hate when acronyms have like invisible ons or like tiny little words.
Uh
It's
huh.
really like pussy, but that sounds inappropriate.
Right.
Post on own site, syndicate elsewhere.
Okay.
So the idea, right, is like, and Elon, thanks to Elon, right? Like up until 2022, Twitter was the place on the internet. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
you want to know what's happening, you want to know like why the subway is out, you go to the MTA's Twitter account. You want to know like, what's the latest and greatest on whatever event or sports or the Oscars or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to know who's getting canceled today, you go to twitter.com.
Right.
And sometimes it was me. But now everyone's uncancelable because there's no longer a place on the internet. There's
Mm-hmm.
like at least 4 Twitter-like things.
Mm-hmm.
And so knowing that this shit can just get bought up by a fascist, authoritarian billionaire at any moment having your own corner of the internet that is like designed by you, that lives as an expression of like what you care about, that like can't be taken away, that can be backed up 8 ways to Tuesday,
Hmm.
like that just seemed increasingly important. So I invested in like, my blog. It's got like 8 kinds of multimedia that I can like post to it. It's got, thanks to AI, it's got all this tooling like a static admin CMS tool that I can upload videos. Even
Hmm.
like Instagram stories can funnel through this shit. And I, because I'm a nice guy, I decided I should share this freedom with others who want to get off social media but still kind of like syndicate their stuff and like be, have friends and family and people who follow their stuff, like be aware of it, right? Because you can't
Sure.
expect people to like go to a website.
So you wanted to essentially own your own content, like you own and host your own content, and then you built an app to syndicate it to other services because other folks are there like watching that, basically.
Yes, some number of other folks,
Right.
a decreasing number because after a while they usually get the picture that I'm not like going to see their replies, and then in general, I watch my follower count go down on the platforms gradually, and my newsletter subscribers go up,
Hmm.
or the RSS, traffic bandwidth usage go up, which is honestly like that's a win too, because that's also now I control the relationship.
Right. Eddie says, "Happy Friday." Happy
Happy
Friday.
Friday,
Happy
happy Friday, Eddie.
Friday.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's always Friday when Aaron's streaming on Fridays.
It is always Friday. It's always Friday somewhere. We know
That's
this.
right.
Uh, okay, so you built it to syndicate all of your stuff. You built this all on your own. How did you build this?
Yeah, yeah. So we were talking about this yesterday. It was kind of like three. I'm glad for this experience because this was not my most important project of the year. I was working on other stuff too,
Mm-hmm.
and I would dip in, spend some time on it, get frustrated because writing these integrations to shit like Instagram and X just suck.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I nope out for a couple months. And so it's kind of like when you've got a nephew that you only see every couple of years, and they just get like, whoa, they're so much taller each time you see them. You can kind of see these slow and gradual changes add up, so they seem more notable.
Mm-hmm.
In January, I think that my tool set was like VS Code with GitHub Copilot spicy autocomplete,
Okay.
and it was pretty shitty. And I mostly just either I think by that point I mostly turned it off, and so I was like writing, I was raw dogging my code
Mm-hmm.
and manually typing commands and syntax and stuff, and I built a lot of the kind of foundational stuff, like the bones of the application. This is
Yeah.
set up my particular bespoke way. I built the first couple of adapters, and so the patterns were in place.
Mm-hmm.
And then I disappeared for a few months, and back in May and June, I picked up Cursor and
Mm-hmm.
like the sort of sidebar YOLO mode, semi agent, semi editor, where really the two of us are trying to pair, and I'm losing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it built out in. I had like 5 days in an apartment in Tokyo, and I
Uh-huh.
was just working on this all day for three and a half of them, and then I would cook and stuff. And uh, I had no social interaction whatsoever during that time. It was just me and my new friend Cursor, and I found myself getting so much more done. I think I got 4 of the 8 social media platforms implemented and tested in like 3.5 days,
Mm-hmm.
and I found myself really angry because at the end of the day, I was like stressed out. I was like context switching a ton. It was like a whole lot of like 80% of the work was beating the ugly out of what it was doing, or like, tweaking like what I had to tell it to get what I needed. But the productivity gains were so massive that I just chose to like absorb the heat of
Mm-hmm.
being mad at the end of the day, because
Mm-hmm.
that's as Aaron knows, Japan has really great canned cocktails called Chuhai, and so I could just spend $1 on a tall boy and make the pain go away. Um, and then and then the third chapter of the story
Uh-huh.
is in when I next came back to this. It was late August, September, October timeframe, and I just wanted to get this thing over with at that point, because like I realized I didn't want to have a support at posseparty.com email address where everybody
Uh. Yeah.
was bitching every time like that an API went down, or their keys were misconfigured, or they got banned from a social media platform, or their RSS feed was malformed or whatever the case. And
Especially because you're like,
no
how
amount.
much are you charging?
Well, I was charging nothing. I hadn't. It wasn't released, right? And
Yes.
and and I was asking people, what would you pay? And people who are like business people, like SaaS people, like people who like think about this stuff in terms of value prop, they'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you should definitely charge like 29.99, and then like for like the shitty tier, and then have these
Mm-hmm.
other like basically priced by the number of, some product of the post and number of accounts you have wired, and like up to like enterprise pricing."
Mm-hmm.
And then I asked the people who would like actually, then I would ask, would you actually use this if there wasn't metrics and analytics and engagement with your audience? Because like this is designed to help you quit social media. And they said, "Oh, well, no, we wouldn't use that."
We
Just
want
like,
we want a social media more, not less.
yes, yes. And I was like, I don't want to fight you forever, so I don't want you as a customer. So then I went to the like the my fellow neckbeards who would use this, and the pricing that they were willing to pay ranged. They were all excited about it. It ranged from $0 to $5 a month,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, how many tens of thousands of people would I have to sign up for this thing for
Yeah.
it to be worth getting out of bed in the morning? And because the maintenance burden or support burden would just increase like linearly with the number of subscribers, I didn't. I just I just wanted to get this off my plate, but I still wanted to share it with people. And
Right.
so I am a guy who doesn't believe in DevOps. I'm a Git push Heroku. I
Uh-huh.
don't. I don't want to learn Docker. I don't want to learn server shit. I don't want to have. I want my Postgres database to be like somebody else's problem. Uh, and I bit the bullet. And in this third chapter, because now that we have full blown agents, I was using Codex CLI for this. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, Codex CLI, my mission is to not learn Docker. So that's what you're here for. You're going to help me basically make this a self hosted app. You're going to like strip out the stuff that requires an email. You're going to strip out all of the shit that like assumes this is a single monolithic SaaS product.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to build all of these convenient scripts so that even a dum dum like me can do things like backups and restores and upgrades like on my server with like one shot scripts. You're going to make it as brain dead as possible so that even I can manage my own instance on DigitalOcean. And it took too long, but I got there. And so, and that was a much more pleasant experience, to be honest. Codex CLI has come a long way in a
Justin,
short period of time. Yeah.
Ufuk says your enterprise price should be get in touch.
Yes. In fact, here's where we landed. So it is self-hosted,
Okay.
but and the source is on GitHub, but it is not open source.
Okay.
It is available for free use non-commercially.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to use it for commercial means, even if it's for your employer, then it's a email me and we'll talk pricing. And
Mm-hmm.
my promise to you is I will be arbitrary and capricious in how I land at the pricing that I decide for you. Um, we'll hammer it out. I'll see what you're doing for me lately.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, I've had 3 companies reach out, and yeah, I became the dog who caught the car, and I was like, oh, I don't want to actually deal with these contracts either. And so I just told them to fuck themselves. One of them was nice, so I said he could just use it and use the email as a receipt. But
Uh-huh.
anyway, I'm really my sales chops have atrophied. I'm rusty.
Oh God. So what was I gonna say? So you put this project together and you used AI, like a lot of AI coding at the end. So if I understand correctly, you're saying like at the
Yeah.
beginning you were doing this all on your own, and then as the project like continued on and on, you started using AI more and more for doing development work.
It felt just like when you start the project on your own as like the founding engineer or the CTO,
Yeah.
and then you start handing off and delegating to a team, and then pretty soon you're just kind of barking at them and getting angry all the time at how they suck more than you do.
Mm-hmm.
Except replace the humans in that story with like 5 tabs of coding agents, and that's
Mm.
beat for beat. Because so like even today, if we go and look and dive into the code, I'll have the excuse of like I got no fucking clue, not my fault. I don't know why they did that way.
doesn't
Dummy.
that doesn't that make you feel like uncomfortable though? Like you're reading the code and it's like, oh, I like you know that this is all your like you own all of this, and then you go look at the code and you're like, I don't know what this is.
Well, if you Git blame it, it is all going to say me because I don't have the agents. Maybe this would be a good idea, a good like kind of little like an agent skill to have it do like inside the shell rewrites of like or at commit time,
Mm-hmm.
do an auto amend of like who the GitHub user is,
Right.
like the git pair syntax or
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So you could at least indicate this
Co-authored
was not
by.
human Justin, it was robot Justin.
It should
Because right now you're right. I don't know.
it should indicate like you should have the commit message somehow indicate how much attention you're paying.
That's
Well,
it.
like this is committed by Justin, but I was paying like no attention. So
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. And we could go for hours about like how to dial in the right amount of attention to get a good outcome. But you know,
well, I
it's
think
something you learned from intuition.
I think it's a good idea. Like I think using AI at the end of the project like that is probably a good idea because like I've been on projects where you're so excited at the very beginning and you're working on the project and then it's so fun, but then you get to this point where it becomes hard
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're like your motivation is like
Your your enthusiasm meter drains, and then you're more and more dead inside, and you need a little pick me up over here,
yes,
and
exactly.
you
and
need the relief pitcher to come in.
and even if you have it like you're like okay please do this because the computer doesn't care right you're like please do this
Right.
thing and if it does it maybe it does a bad job but at least you can be like okay well let's fix this make it better whatever
Yeah,
uh
yeah.
so let's see we're gonna do I guess this is a good time for us to transition you're gonna show off the code to us and show off your
Yep,
editing style right
yep, yep.
okay this is
Uh,
sorry go ahead.
I have no
This is a
follow up.
very weird thing for me today because you're the first person I've had on here where, like, this is the first time where I'm not driving. So we're gonna see how this goes. You're driving today. Actually, I've had other folks on where they're driving, but usually what I do, like, usually the way I run this is we'll be only in a terminal and then I'll share the terminal with the guest and then they can drive in the terminal, but I'm always
Yeah,
streaming my desktop. This is the first
right.
time I'm streaming somebody else's desktop, so we're going to see like how this goes. It could be disastrous, but I
All
think it'll
right.
go
Well,
okay.
I'm unemployed, so if any NSFW stuff shows up, I don't care. Maybe you do. But yeah, we can do cut me over whenever, and we'll
All
see
right.
how shitty Spectrum's upstream is
Yeah,
together.
let's do this. Okay, so I'm going to go let's go over here now. Hey, we're on your desktop. Wow.
What? Whoa, whoa! What a cool web page, everybody.
Marco
That's
is
weird.
asking is the source code public?
Yes, the
Okay.
source code is available. At, uh, as I almost close the tab that's keeping this connection going. Searls Co. Posse Party. And you can go and explore all the code there. In fact, I had a couple people write in with questions about the code because they were like, "Your code's weird," and so we're gonna
Okay.
look at some of their questions today.
I'll
And if
update
you're in,
the I'll update
good,
the YouTube description with a link after we're done
yeah,
here.
sounds good. And then I built this yesterday, which I thought was a lot of fun because I don't know who like I can't do a screencast in less than 20 minutes, so I made this 20-minute screencast, but I knew no one's going to care enough to actually watch a 20-minute screencast. So I just increasingly edited it down to like more and more aggressive cuts. And then I actually managed to get it down to like 1 minute, and it still basically tells you what you need to do.
I
And then
watched
if
the
you
1 minute
if you have no
one.
time, you've got to yeah.
Yeah, that's my attention span. I got the 1 minute one
There you go. It's I called it choose your own attention span. So
in.
and then I got us down to the cool like just sexy curl one liner that you can just drop into a terminal and you're up and running and the server's going. So
Okay, so that's setting it up in
I
a
did the
Docker
thing.
container, or are we gonna walk through this? What are we
It's
doing?
it you run it in a server. We're not
Okay,
going to the 1 minute thing shows you how to set it up if you want, but you run it on a server via SSH and it will pull down the image, set up the containers, get them all running
mm-hmm.
and configured, and then and sprinkle in the scripts that you need and the .env file that you need to configure it.
Okay,
So it's really just a one and done for your server setup.
okay.
Um, so let's start. I've also done zero prep by just talking about like how I do shit. there's individual things about the app that we can like look at, but I want to start with just kind of showing my flow these days, because we were talking yesterday how like I've forgotten all the keyboard shortcuts, I've forgotten Vim because I'm just not typing enough
Yeah,
code anymore, or
I'm
editing
really
enough.
curious about this. My personal AI workflow is essentially I do all of my editing in Vim. I only use Vim for everything. So like none of the AI integrations work well for me there. I think maybe NeoVim might be better. I'm not sure, but basically my workflow is just Vim plus Claude on the side. So I got two tabs. So I'm interested to see how you work.
All right. So I've got I always had a lot of stupid little custom shell commands and shell scripts for getting around my system.
Mhm.
And now, thanks to AI just writing me all these one-shot implementations, I've got way more. So the edit one lets me choose what editor or what agent to launch a directory in.
Okay.
And so like this will launch Codex,
Mhm.
and this will launch Claude. And if I scream it, it'll launch it with dangerous permissions. So so this is running GP252 on high, extra high, which is probably going to be too slow for today. So I'm going to change that to high.
Uh-huh.
And then normally, because when you type into something like this, and then you're like, oh shoot, I hit some command, I don't know what, and it deleted all of the like long prose that I wrote.
Mhm.
That's really frustrating. And so I have this note taking app by Icon Factory called Tot.
Okay.
And what Tot is Tot is just a you only get these 7 sheets. That's it. And you can scroll and stuff. Like today, I did some images, and I just put my prompt here first. And then if the agent sucks or eats my stuff,
Uh-huh.
I can iterate on the prompt in Tot and then just paste it over. That way, I'm not losing my work. But the time to live on these notes is like an hour.
Mm.
Like as soon as it gets forward, I keep wiping it all day long.
Right.
So today, just to say, by way of an example, the next thing I want to do is for our Instagram stories integration. I am noticing that images that are not 9 by 16 are being stretched,
Justin, do
so
you
they
mind
don't
bumping up the font a
look
little?
right. No, because this app doesn't support that.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All
It's
right.
part of what Tot can't do. So I'll be just a moment here. Pull in, I'm going to say pull in libvips,
Mm-hmm.
and do the thing where you maybe center compose the image in a 9 by 16, adding black bars, and save that to a temp file or database blob column or
You're
whatever
gonna
you think
let it choose how to store the image.
will persist long enough for the potential that multiple jobs need to run to wait for Instagram to finish.
All right.
So Instagram, their API, they need a public facing URL that they can curl
Uh-huh.
for assets, which is really stupid.
One thing,
And they don't download even images synchronously.
one question I
So
got for you.
so you have to go and check. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you have to. So first off, you have to make sure that there's a publicly accessible URL for Instagram to go pull your assets.
Yes.
Okay. Question from the
And
chat.
once you do, oh, go ahead.
Question from the chat. First off, I enjoy Ski Mask 13's alias. It's very good. LFG is Claude dangerously skip permissions.
Yes.
Ufuk is asking, how hard would this be to run against SQLite?
I don't know.
Okay.
I know it's really cool to use SQLite and prod, but I'm just such like a Postgres kid now. I don't think I've got any Postgres specific stuff. I'm still able to use schema.rb and it works. So
Okay.
that's usually a sign that it's probably fine.
Yeah, if you can use schema.rb, it's probably fine.
Yeah. Whether that schema RB is just running a bunch of exec commands, I don't know, but
Alpha is asking, you should just ask Codex if it's possible.
Sure, why not? I pay $200 a month for that privilege. Would this code base work running against SQLite instead of Postgres? What would be the lift? To use a business phrase.
Yeah, nice.
That's a heavy lift.
Is that a
As
heavy
opposed
lift?
to a lightweight framework, our other favorite adjective. While we're waiting on that, I made some graphs this morning. I didn't make them. I had it make them. I was like, make me some diagrams of the application architecture. And so it made me some bad graphs. Are you able
Whoa.
to see any of this?
Yes, I can see all of this. Wow.
It's showing presenter notes, and so you're blocked out. I can't see you. So you can see like the left side is the vanilla omakase stuff and the thin controllers, and then that app lib in the middle is 133 Ruby files, and
Uh-huh.
those are all just plain old Ruby objects. So
Okay.
it's picking up on my my lifelong approach of I'm just looking for an escape hatch
Uh-huh.
out of every controller and every model that should have no feature development, no behavioral code that matters, and I treat my controllers and models as just configuration files where you're calling class methods mostly, right? Or delegating out. It also drew this one, which is similar. Let's see. It drew this one, which is nice looking. You can kind of see that it keeps kind of coming to
Brower?
the same conclusion. What's that?
Brower?
Brower? Yeah, yeah. You use your Brower to look at the website. I don't
Do
know.
you look at the website? Yes.
Yeah. Duh. This one also pretty similar. So it did a lot of the same kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I also asked it, is this more
Are
omakase or prime stack? And it tried to identify, and it seems like it's saying mostly omakase, but then on the little meter at the top, it's more prime stack,
I
and then it's
feel
got
it's
some of my weird shit.
I feel it's hedging because it doesn't know how to pick a lane. What is so? What is? Oh, I'm gonna sound very ignorant here. What is a prime stack?
So Steve Klabnik back in like 2011 or 2012 said that the omakase stack is like the DHH stuff, the 37
Okay.
signals way, and then the prime stack was the emerging set of very popular technologies like FactoryBot, RSpec, Cucumber, those alternatives like Slim or Haml as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to ERB, and a lot of that I think over the years has either not been maintained well or with the sort of Rails renaissance that we've seen, a lot of the things that made people frustrated about Rails development and Rails as built-ins,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of that subsided. And so I found it to be valuable to mostly just stick on the omakase stuff
I see.
until I have a good reason not to.
So
Yeah.
Rails the prime stack would be popular technologies that aren't what Rails chooses by default.
Yes.
Okay.
And really, I think prime is usually the first variable, so I think they're more like Rails subprime, but I don't know. I've never really liked RSpec that much. For reasons. I asked it to diagram the data too, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like your app is mostly solid queue, which is accurate. I like how the invitations table over here just got completely mutilated on the left, and I have cross pots instead of cross
I
posts.
mean, well, is
This
this
is
is this
this.
accurate? So you're reading people's feeds and then putting it sticking it into solid queue. Is that the deal?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a better view of that over here coming up. God, this is so ugly. But this is all with the brand new GPT image 1.5 that came out yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to see how good it was at diagrams. And the fact it's like, we should be impressed, right? But like, I don't know. It's hard for AI to impress me for more than 30 seconds anymore. I'm already over it. Sequence diagrams. I kind of liked these. So you can see like the the like Visio style swim lanes. You publish and it the feed has the thing, and then we ingest all of the stuff, and it's because every project at the end of the day is always ETL. It's like extract, transform, and load. We're
the
pulling
the
stuff off of
icons here are
RSS. We're
very
doing these
funny.
transformations. Yeah, they're so great.
Blue sky with like the kind of Twitter logo.
Yeah, it's hedging.
Yes.
This one looked a little bit better, I think. Well, maybe not. They're both sufficiently bad. So I got mad because those weren't good enough. But
Mm-hmm.
that's what that looked like. To answer, I think it was Ufuk's question. Sorry, not as is. There's big blockers like JSON B all over the place. Oh, that's true. Lots of
Oh, JSON B. Okay.
columns. Array columns. There is search, so the search indexes wouldn't be done. And then action cable is configured to a Postgres only adapter, which, while true, I am using action cable nowhere in the app, so I can probably get rid of that gem.
I like that it puts
Uh,
lift in quotes. It's like, I know you're trying to use business speak, so I'm going to put.
I know you're full of shit.
Yes.
Never refer to a request as an ask is like somewhere in my agents.md, by the way. There's all these words that they like using, like to call a guard clause a sentinel. Have you ever heard that?
No.
Like, it's all, every fucking agent will, like, as soon as you like have like a guard clause somewhere or like some kind of edge case condition, it's like, we put a sentinel in here, like to like block an invariant condition. I'm like, no, you didn't. Those are the big robots from X-Men cartoons. That's not a.
That's not.
It picks up all these language from other ecosystems that I hate it. All right. So while that's churning, hopping over to VS Code here, just to show a couple of like the weird things off in my world. I'm going to open up my extensions first and show off an extension I really like. Because I could use Foreman or one of the Foreman-like things in a proc file, but I don't like how the output looks and how it's not interactive, and I never have. So I've got this one very cheap, it was free, extension called Terminal Loader, and you can configure it with JSON. This is I imagine it works for all of the VS Code alikes, but you can configure, hey, I've got these different groups of terminal windows. I've got a server, I've got a console, these are the commands, I got CSS, solid Q, and bash. And so all I tell it is, hey, go ahead.
So this is when you open up a terminal from inside VS Code, it's going to run this jump for you.
Yes.
Okay.
It's going to open all these sub terminals. So I click load terminals, and then I've got the server running, the console running, Tailwind, Q, and then a bash shell for my own convenience. And that way I've got just like a normal fucking relationship with each of these. I find that to be very, very nice. If you were to like start gem filed on down to, like, I always, whenever I'm introing like a new project to somebody, I'll look there first. So I've got, Postgres, Puma, Rack, very boring, solid Q, which I found to be extremely competent. I'm using AWS SES for email because like when I send a lot of emails, it's still like only 30 cents somehow. So if you're paying like 20-30 bucks a month for email for a personal app, it's a waste of money. HTT Party, because I'm back in touch with John Nunemaker lately, and I support.
And you love to party.
Partying hard. Yeah. It's a posse party,
right,
so everyone's invited.
Posse Party, HTT Party.
As long as you're willing to put up with Docker. The platform integrations, I only had to pull in a few of these gems. I honestly wonder if I'm even using the Mastodon one. I started using these gems, and then for all the later ones, I just rolled my own because it's not worth it. Blue Sky is in particular. Didkit, oh fuck. This is a dependency of the Twitter text gem. Twitter, to count how many characters are in a tweet, and you need to know this to use the API properly, it is like NP hard.
Okay.
Like and it needs some sort of lib IDL. I don't know. I didn't look closely, but like it's like the only fucking apt install that I need on the Docker file, because it's you can't reliably count how many characters are in a tweet otherwise, and if it's too many, it just fails. Additionally, how you, like in Blue Sky, how you count characters in a URL differs from how everything else does it, and so on a platform by platform basis, and maybe this is actually a good entree into something I did want to show today. I'm going to cat out cool stuff and just have some links here.
And by the way, your agents are just working in the background while we're doing this.
Yeah, always. Normally, I wouldn't be looking at code while this is running for however long it takes. I would be doing laundry or, playing video games. But here I am. Okay, so if I run this little guy, you'll see that an account has a couple things. It's got it stores the credentials for that account. Oh, fuck. Well, I'm going to have to change that password. Shit. Please don't post to my goddamn password. Fuck. Oops.
Testing with production. Great job.
God damn it. I'm logged into VSky. I shouldn't leave that there. Privacy and security. App passwords. Nope. Figure that out later. Yeah, I did pull down production earlier because my dev database took a shit. So that's that. But the one I want to show you is it should say platform tag somewhere. I'm sure it does. Yeah, platform tag. Somebody asked about this. They were like, "Why didn't you use an enum? Like,
Okay.
why is it this? It's just a string." And I wanted to explain that enums are great and all, but when what you want is just to store some column to indicate like a mapping of which code should run when I've got a thing like this, I find enums to be kind of heavy-handed. They litter a ton of like methods on the models. Migrations are pending somehow. And so what I do instead is that's called the platform tag. The model has an elucidative method called a platform,
Okay.
and you can just here it matches that tag to a platform API. And so when I click through, every platform is just an adapter pattern that like lives over an app lib somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm matching those things, in general, I mean these are all sentinels. But when I'm matching these things, it'll just take the platform tag and then constantize it
Uh-huh.
effectively to go and make a new instance of that platform.
Right.
And so, for
You're just
example,
basically
when
doing
I go and look at
strategy,
B
like a
Sky,
strategy pattern here.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly, that's the word for it. Uh, and so when I look at like B Sky, it's got all these things defined as constants.
Mm-hmm.
And in general, each of these implementations of each of these platforms, it's pretty skinny. It's a pretty short list of like, in terms of like what the required methods are. A lot of them are literally, if you have a constant with this name, the parent base class will just figure that out. Like
Mm-hmm.
here, these default options, right? Like you don't implement this because like I know I want to freeze them and stuff. So that's how that mapping works. The other thing that I think is kind of fun about this is I'm going to go and pop in the app so we can see what that looks like. Now that I'm just outing passwords left and right, here's all my Blue Sky credentials, which I've negated. Sometimes Puma likes to be slow in dev, and I don't know what's causing that. Oh, other than
An error,
Vips not being
probably.
here. Here, yeah. It loaded anyway. Appreciate the hustle. I actually just implemented streamer filters 2 days ago. I didn't do it, but I asked it to do it, and then it did it.
Ah,
So you can see,
nice.
email addresses. And you can see here that these different these credential fields are separate fields, but in the
Okay.
database they were just a JSON. And so I didn't. This is a great example of something I didn't do because it was just a text area when I wrote it. But I said, hey, figure out how to just make these like separate fields. And so it goes through each of the required credentials, key by key, and then it has like its own like kind of series actually of uh, rules for different types of credential fields, and it'll like just generate all of those form fields on this on the back end, or
I see.
on the ingestion side, and then on
Yeah.
the persistent side, because it's the params hash is just a params. It really didn't have to think too hard about this. It didn't seem like. You go through and it's just got this little method merge required credentials, and it's just literally 2Hing it.
Right.
So that goes into the JSON B
Yeah, I was
column.
gonna
So
say
that
this is where your JSON B columns are coming from.
and every one of these platform types has a radically different set of credentials that you need to track.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not like I'm not reinventing MongoDB or a key value store here. I just know that like it's not stuff I'm going to query on. It's stuff that changes for every account type.
Yep.
I don't want to do STI for something so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So the combination of that strategy pattern and the JSON is I that seriously might be, other than some of the shenanigans I had to do at the platform level, like to get these integrations working reliably.
Mm-hmm.
That might be the most unorthodox thing that I did from a code in the system.
Mm-hmm.
So that stuff stands out. Is there anything else that interests you that you want to take a look at?
I want to see how your AI
Oh
is
God.
going. What's going on here?
Yeah. So it looks like it is. Why is it curling? Oh God. This is adding to the Docker file.
So it's updating your Docker file with libvips. What has it done
Looks
so
like it's
far?
building a test. Oh yeah. So here, to answer that question, we talked about this yesterday too. I really like part of me forgetting how to use editors is I don't the editor is like my third UI. Like my number
Okay.
one where I spend most of my time is going to be in the terminal and just talking to it. My second most used app is called Fork. This is a Git GUI, and I just kind of watch what's happening here in real time as it works. So when I want to check on progress, I don't hit escape and just ask it, "Hey, where are you at? Just checking in." I come into Fork and I see like, oh, okay, so this is kind of what it's doing. Letterbox images with VIPs test. Okay, so it's building something out in bytes. Neat. And if I see something I like, or actually if I see something interesting that I'm afraid of losing, or if I know I'm going to make it change direction, I might just sort of grab its work in progress and then interrupt it.
Mm-hmm.
But I basically use the stage at this point to be like mine. This is just a real quick way to tag that like I understand this part. I've reviewed this stuff. So as I review it, I stage it typically, and once it's staged, then I know it's like, well, it the agent would really have to go out of its way to unstage and then trash it.
Right.
So it's I've never had any of these agents, no matter how dangerous of a mode, like actually nuke my staged changes.
So you're
Uh,
so while the agent is working, you're monitoring what its progress via this Git UI, and when you see something you like, you stage it as a way of saying like I like this, I
I've
want it.
I've reviewed this, yes.
Okay.
And if I see something I really don't like, or I can tell it's going in the wrong direction, of course, because I'm speaking right now, my I'm in my procedural brain. I can't really tell if this is good or bad.
Right.
I mean, it looks like code, I guess, and that's nice. And you can see it's picked up my style.
Mm-hmm.
There's a combination of just trying to be consistent as well. And I realize that's small, so we'll open it up in VS Code. Builds Instagram config. Is that the name of it? Oh no, that was builds like story image URL. Okay. So that's kind of a long line there. Sorry, it's my realizing we're on the left side. I didn't want to block anything. So one of the things I do is I almost always have zero arg constructors, and
Mm-hmm.
I try to have every class either delegate its responsibilities
Mm-hmm.
or implement a pure function, but never both.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a mixed levels of abstraction kind of thing. And so it's finally, and it took a lot of like beating it to get it to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's finally figured out. Oh, okay, so I've got two tasks here, maybe three tasks here. I'm going to make a separate thing called downloads HTTP body. I would have scoped it under that. Like I would have put the nested it underneath this class.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. And it's got a letterboxes image with VIPs, which I suppose letterbox is a verb now. And you can see that's just a boring ass function.
Mm-hmm.
So that is picking up my style, and you can see so like another thing about my style is I verb first naming for the class. The you typically only one public method, and it's usually the same verb but just singular, and then everything else being a private, and as few of those as possible. And so it's I could look at that and believably think that I wrote it myself for sure.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this seems fine. Like this particular class. I don't know.
Seems good to
Yeah.
me.
What's it?
All right.
Okay, so you're monitoring via Git, and then you stage stuff. What are we thinking about for storage?
Oof.
Like, I don't know. What else are you doing during your development process?
So in general, like I think the name of the game, if I'm like focused, right? Like today I am working. I'm not like running one of these things and then going off to a resort pool nearby
Mm-hmm.
because I have those days too. When I'm actually working in earnest, I will typically kind of like we did over here to ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
I will think of like useful things that aren't going to step on the main agent's work.
Okay.
Now you could use work trees and you could use multiple checkouts, or you could have, or if you're working in multiple projects, you could be working in multiple repos separately and have that kind of be safeguarded. I've run into several issues trying to use Git work trees or otherwise have multiple agents working in the same repo code based checkout simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
You know, easiest among them is just like merge hell still happens and somebody's got to like, handle the merge. And like the agents are way better at it than I am, but not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also had a couple of catastrophic fails where get work trees gets fucked by something, by some get tool somewhere in there, and then I lose everything. And so if it weren't for that, I'd probably get more serious about it, and maybe I will at some point. But truth be told, I can only kind of like I can barely keep up with how much code it's writing so quickly to review it,
Mm-hmm.
and having to keep in my head like 3 or 4 different like a multiverse of things going on simultaneously that I have to stay really on top of. Whenever I've gone down that path, it's gotten more vibe codey, and I've become more detached, and I've been more prone to just like accept shit
Mm-hmm.
and like, oh, we'll clean that up. We'll clean it up later.
So you have it.
Whereas in truth,
Sorry, you have it work on one thing and then review that. You're not doing multiple things in tandem.
if I am, the other things are going to be maybe additional testing things, additional chores, documentation things, research projects like, hey, go and search the internet and try to like figure out what's the best way to do this other feature that's on deck.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the it's today we won't have time for this, but it's important to note too that like chapter 2 of this story that we won't really get to see is like maybe I'll save that here, but then like whenever I'm looking, if I were earnestly looking and reviewing, I would just start building as I was reviewing a list of this sucks, that shit, and I'd identify it just well enough for the agent to get the hint, and
Mm-hmm.
I would paste that back over to it.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found in general is that it takes 2 to 3 rounds of that kind of review before it reaches my standards.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, what that right number is and how high your standards are, the biggest variable is how big of a task do you give it? Just like real life. I in general, it's needed less and less review as time goes on, both
Mm-hmm.
because the models get better and because there's a broader base of examples to pull from inside the code base. But that's pretty much the flow. That's what it's like to work these days. That's if you can call it work.
What is it doing now? So it's adjusting code structure. Is this like feeding back into itself?
I don't know. Um, I'll show another. Uh, there's another meta editor that I actually quite like called Just Every Code, and
Mm-hmm.
it works with any of the subscriptions, I believe. So I've got that installed too. Of course, it wants its CLI to be code, which is ridiculous because that's VS Code.
Right.
So I've got an alias as Coder. So if I launch Coder, it's a one of these TUI UIs, but it's a real codex fork,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's also written in Rust. It's also very fast.
Mm-hmm.
And if I were to say like uh, review the code base and tell me what kind of impressionist painting you would draw in inspiration of the vibe, um, it'll start thinking and stuff. It's just got like a lot more kind of nifty features.
Uh-huh.
So apart from like looking nicer, if I hit Control R, it'll expose the chain of thought just in
Mm-hmm.
line, and then I can hide it with Control R again. It's got an auto mode, so it'll work autonomously for a long time by having a second chat kind of be the minder and keep pushing it forward until your meta task is done.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had this thing run for 14, 16 hours before on really challenging things, and sometimes have great success. Like my straight to video module that I released this summer, I don't know, a couple months ago, that does like client side compression of video assets. That was basically just I opened 3 of these in 3 different folders and said auto just go nuts, and one
Mm-hmm.
of them worked, and I was like, cool, you win. Uh, because like at that point, if you're paying $200 a month, it's like you want to saturate the usage limits.
Sure.
If you
Gotta get your
look at,
money's worth.
I get frustrated, and I if you look at like a lot of the Reddits of people who are like live like this, who have this same sickness that I do, addiction is like a serious problem
Mm-hmm.
because look at this. I've got 5 hours left and 98% left, and a weekly limit 100% left. And at the $200 level, it's so generous that I've never come even close to hitting that limit, which makes me want to, oh, and my watch just went off, right? So I have a push cut shortcut that pings my watch via notification
Mm-hmm.
every time it finishes. So yeah, just finished this. I
Oh,
paint an impressionist calm dispatch scene, a warm little studio by the water, your personal site that quietly radiates outward rather than a loud plaza that pulls you in. Yeah, this is great.
so it's just glazing you, basically.
Yeah. So I'll take a look at that in a second. Um, but because I was getting these note watch alerts, I would like have dinner. I'd be making dinner. It would go off. I would stop what I was doing,
Uh-huh.
go to the computer, and like just try to keep all of the plates spinning so that I could keep feeding the robot.
Dyson Returns
Because
says you're basically Bob Ross.
thank you, I like that. But keeping this engine fed is a different kind of work,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like if you charge by the hour or if you get paid to be at your desk from 9 to 5, and these things take an hour to do anything useful, then like you're very limited in
Mm-hmm.
your daily productivity. If instead you take the mode of I'm gonna kick off 4 of these, I'm gonna walk away and live my life, but I know that I'm essentially on call 24/7,
Mm-hmm.
you'll actually your throughput of productivity will be much, much higher.
Mm.
And that's in theory, like, yeah, that's perfectly reasonable. But in practice, it's probably not super healthy. Um,
Are we
I
are
don't know.
we
I don't know
pasting
how you
this
feel.
into ChatGPT for the
Yes,
image? Nice. Let's do that. We only have a few minutes left, so this is a good.
yeah, it's a good wrap up. That
Yeah.
was my plan. It was my secret plan all along. I have no idea what this is going to be. Okay, so it knows it wants to create an image at least. We'll see where that lands.
I heard this is faster.
I heard it was faster.
Marco
It made
Marco says that this
better
this seems
diagrams.
so stressful.
It is stressful. It you end the day feeling worse for sure. And some people who are more wired this way, like people who are wired to be managers or more orchestrators, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I like to code because I like to put on the headphones and focus and stuff, and like that's not my job anymore. And it can be your job if you want to suck. If you want to be way slower than everyone else and you just want to like write handcrafted artisanal code and somebody wants to pay you for handcrafted artisanal code,
Uh-huh.
like good on you. But I think that's increasingly just not going to be what the economy is rewarding.
Mm.
So tough shit, like I don't know what to tell you. And so not to say like if you can't beat them, join them. But at the end of the day, if you're writing code for money, and I'm not even doing that, come to think of it, if you're writing code for money, you gotta like make sure that the ROI on whatever they're paying you is like competitive in the market.
Right.
Oh, look at that. That's pretty good.
Ah, wait, click that. Let's see that. I want you to let's double click this.
Jesus Christ. Of course that didn't work. So I'm gonna. Where did it save to?
Your
It
computer,
saved
of
to it
course.
saved to desktop and then it didn't appear until just now. Great.
Great.
Thank you, Tahoe. Oh, wow, that's great.
That's very nice. That's
That's a
very
good job.
nice. Yeah.
I like the weird stamp. Is that like an auto sign? Is that just like be like signed by me? Because
I
I didn't write
stamp
the code.
I approved this PR. This is the stamp I use for PR
No,
approval.
it's my signature, so it can push to GitHub as me. It's like checking in.
All right,
Well, that's a good note to end on.
I'm gonna switch us back to desktop for a second.
Right on.
Where the heck is it? There we go. Hello, Justin.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, thank you for showing off your editing style, and as well as Posse Party. Thank you for inviting me to the party.
It's your party, man. I'm just a guest. I'm the guy you call when there's no one else who wants to do your stupid stream with you. So here I am to fill in.
I guess.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. I think this is gonna be the not think this is absolutely the last stream I'm doing this year. So.
Well, I released Posse Party when I did
Mm,
because it seems like an awesome Christmas break. If you're taking some PTO, you've been thinking about starting a blog, but you're, like kind of half-assing it.
mm-hmm.
Uh, Go and watch the video, set up Posse Party, get a blog going, and like even if it's just little short posts that just are, Twitter tweet length, like it's a good way to get in the habit and start down that path. So I thought it'd be a good project for people
Oh
over
my
the
gosh,
holiday.
Ufuk has a great point. You need to give me a pun for my stream.
Okay. I'm not a real time punter.
No, 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 not
So
now. I can't put you on the spot. That's not possible.
okay,
I can't.
that's fair. I might actually, speaking of, if you for anyone watching who doesn't know, I have a solo podcast called Breaking Change,
Yes.
and my co-star is Aaron Patterson, who doesn't even have to listen because he just iMessages me a pun before I do every recording, and he does it in invisible ink, and then I rub it away, I read it live on air, and then I rank it based on how very good it is relative to all of his other very good puns. And I think we gotta find time around New Year's to do our pun sort,
Our
our
pun
second
review.
annual.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're not gonna like the last few, dude. The last few were like
I was phoning it in. Not good enough.
last place. One of them was, I think, literally phoning it in. I think that was the pun.
I
I was
mean,
like,
they're
come
all
on, man.
phoned in. I'm texting you via my
No,
phone.
oh, Jesus Christ. Good times. Good times
Good
were had.
times. Good times.
Oh, and happy birthday, by the way. It's Aaron's birthday
you.
week.
Yes,
There's
it is.
a big momentous birthday.
Yes.
I don't know if you want people to know how old you are.
I don't care. Sure. I am 45 years old this week. Yes. I did it. Another rotation around the sun. Made it.
You're so youthful.
Yes.
I feel like our lack of having children results in us just, if anything, becoming more immature with time.
Maybe, but it's not explaining why I got all this gray hair though. It's like that's the
I don't know.
All right.
Steve Martin went gray, did his best stuff.
That's true. Good point. All
You're
right.
still young.
Let's wrap this up. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Justin. I really appreciate it. I am going to bid you adieu and then do an outro here.
Bye forever.
Bye. Let's see. Hello. Thank you all for joining me on the stream this time. It was a pleasure to have you all here virtually. If you have any suggestions for things you want to see me stream on in the future, send me an email or leave me a comment on the YouTubes and I will do that. I love taking suggestions because I don't know what to stream about usually. So thank you all. Have a great holiday season and a good new year. I am going to sign off now. Bye, everybody.